Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander. I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, we have my co-host, Kelly. Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah, hi, everyone.
All right, this is our favorite part of the day, by the way. And this is, we also have my co-host, Barbara. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Now, our guest tonight is Karyn Reece. The last time you were here with a bunch of dead people. I don't know if you remember that or not. That's true. That's what happened. You were here. We introduced you, and then I said, yes, so how are you doing? And I said, I'm here with a bunch of dead people. So, I guess to lead into that, because, we told, I wanted you to meet Barbara because Barbara's the new co-host. And she's been, she's been helping us out with everything, and maybe you can see if you see the dead people around her.
Hey, the dead people never stiff us, I'll just say that much. It's insane. Actually, I'll have to tell you about Ghost Bait, too. If anybody has a chance, you should watch that show. That's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a chance to check that out. I was on one of the shows a couple of weeks ago, and I'll tell you, it's Creepyville.
What is the show?
Ghost Bait, Travel Channel. If anybody gets a Travel Channel, I was on one of the episodes. Yeah, I could tell you a funny story with that, if you want to hear about it. But, I got a father coming in, though, somewhere. Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I'll tell you, this is Bob McGill, who is the producer, the writer, the whole, 9 yards. He had called me, and I hadn't talked to Bob in a while. And during our conversation, I said, hey, Bob, I said, you have a really good friend named Dave, right? He says, oh, yeah, one of my best buddies. I haven't talked to him in about 6 months. I go, yeah, he'll be calling soon. I go, but I see a ventriloquist on his TV, right? 2 hours later, this guy, Dave, who I have no idea who he is, called Bob, and Bob said, this is so weird. I was just talking to a friend of mine, who's a psychic medium about, this upcoming show that I'm doing. I want her on. And she said that you would call. But the weird thing, she said that you have a ventriloquist on your TV. All of a sudden, he took a picture and then sent it to him. He was watching, I don't know, some kind of show like America's Got Talent or one of those shows. There was actually a guy with a ventriloquist doing some kind of something. So it's funny, I'd seen it like 2 hours before it had actually happened and what have you. But anyways, getting to the show, I'll tell you, when Bob called me, I tell people I don't want to know anything, just let me pick up what's going on. And when I was talking to him, I was picking up a John Jason connection, which connected to the one gentleman that was on the show that I worked with on one of the episodes. And then I started getting all their information. And then one of the Bob's assistants had called me a couple of days later. And while I was talking to him, he goes, you're going to fly into Florida from Buffalo, and then you're going to drive up to, Georgia. I said, fine. I said, there's a helicopter in your future. So as things go on, typically I start picking stuff up ahead of time. It happens all the time. Well, when I got to the hotel, and I'll back up on something else in just a minute, Andy came to meet me. He goes, this is really weird. Do you remember telling me that, you saw a helicopter in my future? I go, yeah. What is it, like something you're doing with, like work or something? You're flying in a helicopter? He goes, no. En route to this really haunted location that we ended up doing the shooting with, he said, there's a street called Helicopter Avenue. And it was in Georgia. I go, how funny is that? But anyways, what was interesting, before I even got down there, I picked up that the woman that was haunting the grounds, which was a great-grandmother of this kid, Jason, a.k.a. John, who was on the show, she was upset because she had found out that her husband was having an affair. She was into occult-like practices, really satanic stuff. There's a lot of really creepy stuff that I don't think they showed everything on the show. And when I was flying down, I kept hearing, you're going to have a head-on collision. So I said, oh, God, make sure I don't have a head-on collision. So when I got to Florida, and then I picked up my car, and then I'm listening to my Siri directing me to Thomasville, Georgia, was I think about an hour and a half from Tallahassee. I'm just cruising along, and I heard this really weird noise input itself, and I had the radio on, and I heard make a sharp left, which I did. I'm like, that's really weird. I'm going maybe 2 minutes down this highway, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going the wrong way. Just then I see a sign, wrong way, and I see a car coming towards me. Thank God I had just enough time to do a quick U-turn. That would have been my head-on collision. But the real interesting part, it gets even weirder. When I got on set, immediately I started picking up stuff. I saw the old lady. She really didn't like me. She had fangs. She was giving me this, kind of look to me. And as we progressed, I said, oh, there was a collision. There's a collision, and, a woman had died. And what it was is she had and I said she put a hex on this woman, something like that. And what it was, this old woman put a hex on her husband's girlfriend, who ended up having a car crash. And she was trying to do the same thing to me, repeat that same thing. I'm going to have Karyn die in a car crash, because she knew I was coming down, and eventually I would clean up that energy, along with the person. Yeah. So, and there's all these other behind the scene creep factors and things that went on. And, with TV, you're only restricted by so much time, to be edited. I know on one of the scenes I saw we were looking at at the television, and they were filming the gentleman that was being haunted, her grandson. She was causing a lot of torture and delay, and it was so weird. I'm looking, I said, oh, I see a spider. Now, I saw the spider psychically next to him. The thing had to be about 8 feet in size. It was a ghost spider. Just as I'm saying that, as soon as I said that, he goes, oh, my God, I feel a spider. Little did he realize this spider was really massively gross and big. And thank God he didn't see it, because he had a bag over his head, because this thing was also out to try to, cause some damage. And that was all because of the grandmother, because she didn't want her grandson to, loosen the family hex on that property and all the crazy stuff. So, people always ask, is this stuff true? And, are these cases true? And I can tell you. And they're definitely true. And oddly enough, Bob always has very strange and creepy cases on ghost bait, but his take on it is so different. He's a very interesting character. So just wanted to share that little snippet with you. But if you get a chance, watch Ghost Bait. If you want to get something, see some really chilling, creepy stuff, that's definitely the show to watch.
Okay.
I don't think
Wow.
I'll by myself.
Yeah. It's insane. You know what? I've seen Australia. Sure.
Do you see anything?
Well, Karyn.
What's
Karyn,
that? Did somebody? Yes.
Barbara. This is Barbara, and I just connected. Hi. I just connected with you on Instagram. You are so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Good thing. Thank God for Photoshop. Thanks. That, or you might need glasses, but thanks.
Yes. And so I am reading that you are psychic to the stars. So you must really interesting stories besides the one you just told us.
I do. It's so funny, because somebody had asked me recently, what is the strangest thing that you have experienced when you read one of the stars? Obviously, I can't say names because of confidentiality. But one of the really strangest things during a reading, it came out that a mother was sleeping with her daughter's boyfriend.
Oh.
It was weird. Talk about dysfunction or putting fun in dysfunctional,
Wow.
With that.
Question, Karyn, just real quick. I'm wondering, after you do a reading with a star, a celebrity, are you, can you talk about that, or do they want you to keep that private?
Yeah, I usually have signed confidentiality, contracts. I mean, I may relay a story, I just wouldn't pinpoint who it involves, just because, I've signed a contract. And when I do my work as it is, I keep everything confidential. And my clients sign confidentiality contracts too. I mean, it's up to them to decide what they want to tell people. But you'd be surprised at some of the crazy stuff that's out there. You think we all live, crazy lives? Some of these people live really crazy lives. And then you have people that live, very normal lives too.
Well, okay, thank you. So, what were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I think Jonathan had a question, or we were going somewhere, Jonathan?
Well, I was curious if you see anything with for Barbara. Do you see anybody around her, or?
There's a female that's coming in around you. I feel like she's a peer or a sister. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Barb?
Well, because I was going to ask you, I have been haunted. Supposedly, I was pushed down a staircase by a jealous female spirit. I don't know if I believe that or not, but now you're saying that you feel this presence of a female. Are you feeling negative or good?
No, this person feels she's definitely not negative. And by the way, I keep getting Australia around you, Barb, too. I started when I first tuned in. I think you're going to have a trip to Australia. Actually, you're going to know a woman from Australia. I think she's got like reddish brown hair. She's a cool person, by the way. You won't know her for a while. I also got a father connection, too. I've got both you and Kelly's energies coming in your families. But there's a younger female. I shouldn't say younger. She's probably middle-aged, but she's not like 80. And she's coming up around you. I also heard the name Ann around you. That's not your middle name, Barb, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, she called you Barbara Ann. Okay, I'm starting to pick up. You got a grandmother coming in too. Got a mother.
Yeah?
You got a whole. Yeah, I'm starting to pick up. They're calling you Barbara Ann. That sounds like you might be in trouble. You know, when you get those types of middle name, first name types of things going on. Just so you know. What's
perfect.
that?
My grandma's always said I was perfect. They never would do that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, Barbara Ann. Tell Barbara Ann I love her. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
One called me Barbie. I just was wondering if I had gotten rid of the spirits that were haunting me yet, because I'm trying.
No, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have a haunted spirit around you. That was nonsense.
Thank you. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, John,
and it was your friend that confirmed it. What's that, darling?
I want to ask you about somebody who has passed away. If they are around, how do they feel? There was something, they were somewhat of a celebrity too. They were well known, and they were a well-known surgeon who died in a car accident. And what they say about this person is not good. I wouldn't want to go out like that, because it was a little bit of an irresponsible thing to be doing, and people are saying this, and it was all written about in the papers, and I just think, how do we know really for sure if that's what the person was doing that caused their own death? Do you pick up on this?
Yes. Do you know where there's a Ryan or Brian connection to this person? Is it a friend of his? Okay. Is it a friend of his? Cause,
last name.
Okay, because he said like a Ryan or Brian. I couldn't hear him clearly, so he's actually laughing. He thinks it's hilarious what people are saying.
Laughs.
Oh yeah, he's got an infectious laugh. He's laughing about this. Looks like he's been gone a while. I'm not familiar with him. Does that make sense? He's been gone for a little while?
Yes, it has been a while. I can't even remember what year that was.
Yeah, it feels like it's going on 10 years. He's laughing about things, and he said, I'm okay. You know what's really weird, though? I kept hearing the name like Ryan or Brian today, and I kept getting like a car crash connection like earlier today. Clearly, your friend over here was trying to get my attention earlier today, which happened.
Wow.
He said, don't believe everything you hear, but at least when I went out and had a blast when I went out. Nothing like making an impression. His voice is really sexy, too. I got to tell you. He's got like a sexy voice. You know what I mean? You know how some people just have that voice that it's sexy? He goes, well, call me Mr. Hottie. I'm like, listen, smart ass. He's having a good time. He requested he left early.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's funny. He says he regrets that he left early, and he says, but it's kind of funny the way I went. At least I made a lasting impression. If you're going to go, you might as well go, out in light, so to speak. So,
yes.
But he also said to say, it went so fast, I didn't feel any pain. And was there something written about him recently, like a biography or something, or do you know about that? I think somebody's going to write a biography.
I'm not sure. I have not heard about anything recent, but I do know that his dog was thrown out of the vehicle, and the dog survived. Is he sad about the dog, or does he remember how it happened, or did it happen too fast? Like he doesn't remember how maybe he caused his own accident?
He's telling me he was driving basically reckless, like speeding, he said. Looks like he might have had a little drink or two. But he said it just happened really fast that when he released from the body, he said, I didn't feel any pain. It just happened very fast, which is if you're going to go in a car accident, you don't want to feel any pain. He said, hang on, I was up out of my body. It was the weirdest experience, he said, because first I'm visual, then everything went black, and I felt myself being pushed forward. So he pushed out of his body forward. You know, like if you're sitting in your body and all of a sudden you go forward, like you're going to get up out of a seat. That's the sensation I'm feeling. And he said it was the weirdest, strangest thing at first because he's like, what the hell happened? Were his first words. He kind of like looked around. He's a little stunned, and then he's like, oh, you know, shit is what he said. And he said then it registered. He goes, oh, my God, I didn't realize. But he didn't feel pain. He said, I felt immense peace. He was met by I think he said a father or grandfather, yes. And then he said, next thing, the lights and the rest. He said, but it was a little odd for me I was trying to revive myself, or I was trying to think, you know, I need to get back in there. I need to save myself. But he said, yet at the same time, I could tell that my body, my physical, there wasn't any way to save my body. Let everybody know. That's so weird because I kept hearing that name. Let everybody know, though, that he said it's beautiful here.
Well,
but
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to add a couple things so maybe that will like help you a little more. But okay, so he was not a drinker. He didn't even drink, so it wasn't that. So
he had something, you know, he showed me. But you know what he's talking about? Because he's putting a cup to his mouth.
A cup? Oh. Well, they say that he was texting, and that's what caused the accident. But how can they really prove it? That's why I wanted to ask him. I mean, were you doing that? I mean, we've all done that, texted and drive, but we should not do it. But I want to know.
He did. Go ahead. Oh, you want to know? No, he had a little something, just a little something. He didn't say he was drunk. He said I had a little drink. When he was driving, he had something that he was drinking. I don't know if it's alcohol, so don't read that. I'm saying he's drinking alcohol. He said he had something he was drinking, like he took a sip of something. I don't know what it was. It's in a cup. And he showed me because I can't hear him. He says, I took a sip, something like I probably fell out of the car during the crash or something. He says, I took a sip or I had a little drink of something. He didn't say alcohol because I would have said it was alcohol related. And I didn't smell alcohol. He says, I just took a sip. He did say he wasn't paying attention. He was reckless. And he did point to like texting. So yes. So he took a sip, a little reckless, and he kind of was trying to text, and he was going a little faster than what he should have. So that's his recklessness. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah, because it was very curvy. It was very high up in, you know, Malibu, way up after he did a walk. It was in the day, so it wasn't like something he was doing with drinking and being out crazy. It was like a reckless thing of driving probably too fast around those curves. And then it just went off the cliff, and so plastered on the front page of the paper, Dr. Frank Ryan was texting and driving and killed himself. So I just wanted to ask you, is that really what happened? So do we still not know for sure?
No, he said, what I said at the beginning, he said I was reckless. So yeah, he wasn't driving the way he should have been driving. You know, you're on a twisty, turny thing. He says I was reckless, a little fast. He took a little sip of something. He said I had a little drink of something, but not alcohol. He didn't say that because he says I just took a sip and it looks like a cup. And then he punched. Looks like he was texting because he starts pointing as though he's punching. When I can't hear though, like it's almost like playing charades. He says that's really what happened.
I was thinking, when you first said that he put the cup to his mouth, I thought he was trying to tell you that he was texting and driving.
No.
Okay.
No, he says I took a drink, and he took the cup and he tilted it, you know, like a little cup. He took like a drink. He had a drink, that's what he said, or he had like a sip is what I would call it. So he was like driving, took a sip, and then he said punching. So it sounds to me, and he's saying yes, you know, he took a sip, and then he's punching on his phone, you know, texting, doing something like that, going, you know, not really paying attention, a little faster than what he should have been for where he was paying attention, and that's what caused his recklessness. had he been paying more attention to the road instead of taking a sip and doing we all do that. You take a sip of coffee or whatever, or sometimes you get a text. I usually try to do, voice to text, but he actually was showing me he was trying to punch in or about to punch in his texting. But the bottom line is he said he was reckless. But what's funny, though? I got to tell you, I heard the name Frank earlier today. I heard the name Ryan or Brian. I didn't realize that was his first name because he just said like a Ryan connection. He's been coming around me all day looking forward to speaking to you. You're a lucky girl. And he smiled, by the way.
Thank you. He always said that I made him laugh. And I just want to say, can you just tell it, really? Thanks. Can you tell him hi for me, please?
He just drew me a big heart. And he said, "You're near and dear to my heart. You're very special." He said, "I knew you would be coming and asking tonight." Yeah. By the way, did you do something in your kitchen or your kitchen cupboards? Do you need to redo them or something like that? Or you need to clean them?
I'm looking at them a lot, and I'm thinking of what dishes I want to take with me on my move. So they've been on my mind, yes.
Yeah, because what you've been doing, because...
No, Karyn. Okay.
You're funny.
My dishwasher broke, and I had to write to the maintenance man today to ask for it to be fixed. I ran it 3 times, and the soap never opened to pop it out. And now you're seeing dishes?
Well, Frank was talking something about your dishes and doing something with something in the kitchen with the dishes. He's laughing about that. He was in your house laughing about that. Yeah, he technically haunts you, but at least it's not a bad haunting.
I took a picture of the soap, and I made Priscilla, my daughter, look at it. I'm like, look at this, look at this. Like, I probably made a big deal about it. Silly thing.
He's laughing. Your boyfriend over here is laughing about it. He thinks it's hilarious. He goes, "What's that?" He says, "Oh, I have a maid over here." I go, "Typical guy, you have a maid." Because on the other side, you have a house. You look at your past life. You meet up with your loved one. It's just like Earth. It's almost like you're traveling to another state. And he says, "I never clean up. I have somebody do it for me." That's funny. Your buddy Frank. Oh, it's interesting. He comes to you in your dreams a lot too.
I just don't remember my dreams very much.
What you want to do is. Oh yeah. Well, a lot of times we don't remember our dreams because if we do, we don't want to come back here. So what you want to do is, when you go to bed at night, you can tell whoever, Grandma, Frank, or whoever. Start looking at their picture or say, "I will remember seeing you. I will remember seeing you." And then at some point, you'll start to remember, your out-of-body experiences. By the way, I saw a lot of artistic ability around your daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, she does like that a lot.
She's beautiful. Did she cut her hair too recently?
Yes, and it's so sad because she has the most thick, beautiful hair that grows so long, but she wants it cut in a style. She's got a style, so that's okay. And yeah, she did, and she wants it cut again, and she wants it pink, which is fine.
I saw that. I just was going to say I saw colors. Yeah. Yeah, I think your father just told me she's beautiful. She's a really beautiful girl. Yep. Be glad that you did an outstanding job raising her.
Well, thank you. It's not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go back to thank you. Wait, I have one more thing. I want to go back to the Frank Ryan thing really quickly. Okay, so I am moving, so I'm going through all of these old clothes too, and I just saw yesterday these bony pony tank tops and underwear and stuff, and I thought, I don't wear it, but I think I'll keep it because Frank, he was so sweet and so nice, and he helped so many people with his Bony Pony Ranch, and he would bring in the inner city kids out to the ranch who've never even seen horses or lions and chimpanzees and all kinds. Oh yes, all kinds of exotic animals, and he was really a good person. So I just want to thank you so much for reading that, and it's nice to know that he's happy and he's still laughing, and he was really taken too young. I think he was in his 40s. So thank you,
That's
and that was really nice. I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's
All
so
right.
funny. Yes, darling.
I'm going to take in a caller now, okay, because this is a caller. It's from area code 40. 407. You there? 407.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You got a really good voice, by the way. You should be
Oh,
singing.
thank
You got
you.
a really pretty voice. Yeah, let's ask a question in a minute. But what's that?
I'm usually I was on the show, and I've never called in to talk to guests. So it's weird because I don't hear it the same, so it kind of threw me off at first. But I wanted I called to talk to you because about a few things, and this show is about to get really, really interesting as we're going to do a spiritual show. But I wanted to first tell you I respect what you do, and I have similar gifts, and I work in the community as well as far as doing spiritual work. But because of the way I was raised, like around preachers and stuff, and real strong pastors and things, that were real gifted, but they didn't understand at that time in that generation what was really going on, what we know today, And as a child, a little bit about me. I have credentials. I do remote viewing for the court system. I profile homicides for Denellen County and for 33rd. And I also do like trance meditation, but advanced. And I didn't know about the Kundalini when I had a real experience, like the small percentile people, when you tap into that and you just know everything, where they say you die and then you never die again, one of those experiences. And okay, but see, a lot of people don't understand that, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to call is because you know as well as I know, because back in the day they were hanging people for doing what we were doing, and
that's why we don't eat steak. We were burned at the stake.
That's funny. I can remember that one. That's another one. I love that. Okay, so I have much respect, although because I was raised a Christian, and I was raised in a home where my dad was from Europe, and he was straight off the boat, on a sponsorship to America. And my mom was a pastor, but my mom could manipulate energy, and she went to a real special school. It's called the Helper Institute outside Detroit. But it was a school for science, but that's where they just started studying about people like us, right? And because in school, being very, very different in kindergarten, we did a show on this last night, but I refused. I already could manipulate energy at the age 4. I could levitate things, right? And I had premonitions, and I had a house with heavy activity. And like my house today, anytime that a guest is coming to my house, my front door will open for them. And I've had people. I have big marble stone pictures on my wall that are literally off the wall in the morning, and a lot of I have like heavy activity in here. But I also do a lot of channel work. I also Zachary Timms is a pastor. He was the one in Times Square that was found with a prostitute. He had a big congregation here in Apopka, Florida, but I didn't know who he was.
I remember that. Okay.
Well, check this out, girlfriend. He channeled me, and I didn't know who he was. But you got to remember, because I grew up a preacher's kid, and I always knew I had these gifts, but my religious beliefs were like, you can't talk about that. Number one, you're a woman, and don't you ever tell anybody that you can manipulate energy. And I saw my mom literally with no care turn and look at my I got to watch the names here just like you because this is big. But I'm about ready to shake some boots because this pastor that came through, I mean, when I was young at 7, imagine you know how to do all this stuff, your mom's homeschooling you, got to keep that on the down low. And she's a preacher's kid, so she kept it from her parents, right?
Oh,
and I had siblings.
Totally.
And I had siblings that didn't understand me. To them, we look crazy, okay, until they start seeing numbers. And I read angel code. I wake up, I see the numbers 137 every time. I actually have 2 clocks in my room, and the one next to my bed. When I do heavy channel work, that thing will flip an hour. I'm next because of, the energy pull. I teach on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
And what happened is this pastor, when he channeled me, he said, and remember, this is another thing. Because I grew up real rough, I didn't take the time to read because I thought that shit was boring because I was busy doing what you and I do, And we kept that on the download because even the adults teaching us, we knew that they didn't know what we knew, right? And so I was quiet about my stuff. My whole point is that us in this community now, what this preacher was saying, when he came to me, he said and I was confused, but now I understand. It took me 7 years to figure this out, right? What I figured out is he was saying, he came to me and he showed me like a vision of this dude coming down a hill, and I didn't know who it was because I never knew the Bible, and all I had was a vision of this man from a visionary as well, and all I knew is I could feel his spirit, and I knew he reminded me of Will Smith, okay? And he was very gentle and very angelic, and every time he sat down, I had a vision of him sitting down, and he was like opening a book and talking to me. And he told me he had been with me for 3 months, and I knew that because everybody was saying, Ian, you're starting to talk like a black person. Honestly, that's what they were saying, because I was calling everybody Felicia, apparently. And because I do trance meditation, when I come out, I'm still in that mode until I get back to what I'm doing, And every time he would come to channel me, I would tell him, I'm done now, because they come when they feel they can, because they like to work energy with us when they know it's the right timing, right? So, and because I do deep trance meditation, it's easy for me to channel in. I mean, I could be, like what you were saying, that's another reason why I called too. I heard you talking about in the morning, you had your visitor friends, and your people that are connecting with you, or sources that are connecting with you. I have really neat experiences, but they're different because when I was 7, I saw a light being in my house. And my mom used to do telekinesis with me, and we would have the same dreams all the time. And so it was just stuff like that because, and my daughter was born with a veil, my daughter, and she has a gift, and she can manipulate energy at age 7, and it scares her. People were taught that these things aren't normal, and I have so much respect for you to do what you do because, see, I don't take the title as a medium, and I made that very clear to Jonathan because, to me, that area is still kind of scary to me just because of what I was taught, and I'm still healing from that, right? But in the spiritual community, we all respect each other because I had a really hard time in my life, I can throw I like to play with the oracles. I'm a master with the pendulum. I mean, I can make that thing fly. It flips the kids out, right? I mean, right now I have 3 pendulums sitting in front of me. And I worked with Dr. Emoto personally, did studies with water with him. Yeah. And so you understand, and that's another thing. People like you and I are coming out right now. It's on podcast shows. And it's if you were to read, The Hidden Books of Jesus or something like that, I was listening to a study and I was like, this sounds just like the chakras, right? And when I started connecting the dots, I was like, wow, Jesus was a yogi. But see, religion doesn't teach us that, right? Because when he was talking about the 7 fires, he's talking about the chakras, right? Well, people like you and I that are energy workers are going to boom. And I just think it's interesting because this pastor, when he channeled me, 7 or 8 months. And then when he said, I'm going to show you something, when they go to do their closing, okay, when I do channel work, he calls them love gifts. He said he was showing me, kept telling me he was showing me what was behind the veil. And I started getting visions of the Bible, but it was different visions, okay, than what I had heard. And because I couldn't read when I was a child, I was busy doing what I was doing. That's the one thing I regret about going to school. Now I can read like a speed reader after I had a death experience. And guess what?
I did too.
I had 2.3% blood in my body, and they said my organs should have started shutting down at 5, and the average person has 14. And apparently I've been running for over 8 years like that with 2.3% blood in my body. They've done all kinds of tests on me, and they're like, they wanting to interview me and do articles, and I told them, this is the problem. Y'all don't apply science to medicine. And I told, excuse my French, I told them to all screw off. They had everybody was in my room at the hospital, and I had a friend that was coming to see me. He was a guy friend. And so I wanted to go down to my car and get my makeup and stuff, and I ripped all my monitors off, right? This is what freaked them out, because the stairs were right by my door. And I thought, well, if I take them off and I come back real quick, they won't know. So I ran down to my car. When I came back, when they hear those monitors go off, they think they're dead. And they tried to give me a blood transfusion. I'm O. So I'm universal. I should be able to be. I had a reaction to my own blood. They almost killed me in the hospital.
And have you experienced a lot of the things that Ann is talking about, Karyn?
Have I experienced a lot of the things?
No, I was asking if Karyn's experienced any of the things that Ann's talking about.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I got to tell you, it's funny because I want to just hit on religion, which is a very important thing, because it's, I remember at 7 years of age, and my mom's side, that's where usually you get your psychic abilities from. It usually comes down through the moms, although my brother has it. My two nieces are the same. But I remember at 7, my mom's one sister-in-law was in one of these fluky kind of religions. And to me, religions are all cults. I don't believe in religion. I believe in God. I've seen Jesus, Mother Mary, what have you. But I remember my aunt saying to me, I remember saying, I predicted my dad's death. I was 7, and 3 weeks later he dropped dead unexpectedly of a stroke. And my aunt had the audacity to say, well, that's the devil's work. And I said, well, Aunt Ruthie, I said, it doesn't make sense, because why would God allow the devil to harass a kid? I said, I believe in God. I said, so I don't believe in your religion. And my mom said they were Catholics, but she married my uncle, and she was a Jehovah's Witness, and I get it. And I used to laugh because I said to her, I go, when you hear, behold, John saw a vision, John in the Bible, or behold, Jesus sees a vision, I said, what do you think that means? And I said to my aunt, I said, what that really means is that they're getting stuff psychically. You can call it, psychic, you can call it, whatever you want to call it. I said, but the bottom line is, if you're receiving information in a way that's not natural to our beings, it's all about the intention. I laugh when they call it, I can't think of the word in my mind, I've read all day today, but in the Bible, when, you're giving this particular insight, and I'm like, it's all the same. You're receiving it, and then it's what you do with it. So I always find it funny, and I tell people, the problem with religion is it really puts a wedge between you and God. You don't need a priest or a minister or a rabbi. Go within and pray. Talk to God. God will talk to you. So it's kind of funny. And
preacher, when he channeled me, obviously he kept saying he was telling me what he was seeing behind the veil. So because I'm like, that's my main gift is my channel stuff. I mean, like you did, like you say, the predictions and stuff. I've been doing that. I do it for the courts and like, stay off your motorcycle. I told my husband, stay off your bike, something's trying to take you out.
Oh, yeah.
The day he got pissed off at me and got on his bike, it totaled his $83,000 Harley, and he was in the hospital. But, I do that all day long, or I'll see, that's why I wanted to talk to you. See, sometimes I go into meditation in the morning, and then I'll feel the presence around me, okay, because I have a question for you about this. I'll feel the presence around me, right? But because I had my experience at 7, and I saw those light things in my house. I remember closing my eyes, and I said, I did not want to have the gift of seeing things, okay? So my daughter has that gift, okay? She's had it since birth. But me, when this preacher came to me, when he was channeling, he said he wanted to show me what was really going on in the realm where he was, where he was. And he wanted me to get this information to all these other high-profile preachers. And he's giving me all these names. And I'm writing them down, because that's my main – I'm real good at my channel work, okay? Like, I profile homicides. Like, before Trump went to Syria, I do viewing, okay? So, like, I could actually profile for the government if I took my credentials. I mean, they already have my credentials, actually. Actually, they do. But, like, longitude and longitude, what he was wearing at the desk, I could tell you what color underwear he had on that day and exactly what door he walked out, okay? And now I'm friends, like I am friends with high-profile government people, and they're all colonel generals, and they're all in the Air Force, and that's what I do. What I'm trying to move my area to is to do more government work if I can. But my point is, when that happened, and I said, and because I've always feared mediums, and that's a part that I haven't recovered from still a little bit, because like people would say, oh, you're a medium, but when this pastor came through, when he drew this graph, and he was drawing this thing out really, really fast, and I haven't looked at this stuff in 7 years. I'm going to open it up. I was telling Johnny, that'll be a fun show. So I'm going to connect the dots with what he was sharing, because I learned about religion a little bit, because I never studied it. I just studied my gifts because I knew I was good at what I did, and I was never wrong. So and people from high trauma, they don't understand that when a person goes to that level of consciousness, that vibration, I teach on vibration and frequency, on energy, because I manipulate it. I can set shit on fire. So, I mean, but I was so good at it as a kid, it came so simple to me that I just quit doing it. And then when I noticed that the teachers were watching me, they noticed I would do it like when I was thinking. So they put me in a room all by myself, and I knew that they were watching me, so I didn't do it. But because society told me that those gifts were wrong, my parents told me, the only one that stood behind me and worked through me for 46 years was my mom. So when I had this preacher around, then I started seeing 137s everywhere. And then I would ask questions, and he would give me answers. And the next day, everything he said that was going to happen would happen. And he did it for 7 months straight, girl. So he had messages for these high-profile preachers, right? And I'm like, when he first came through, this is what the deal is. When he first came through, he confused me because he was talking to the preachers like Paula White and T.G. Jakes. He gave me all these names. And I didn't know who these people were. I'm just writing my stuff out. And he said, shame on you, shame on you. And I'm thinking, why is he mad at these preachers, right? Because these are good people, you know what I mean? And then later, when he closes the channel, they always say, who is, and then they give me their name. And he said, he put a big Z, and then he put Tim's, or he put Tim, and they made me do apostrophe and an S. And then he said, go look me up on YouTube. And when I looked him up, I bawled like a baby because he had been with me for so long, and he taught me. See, I always wanted to preach as a child, and I was good at it, okay? And because I grew up in the streets of Detroit, and I know people, I grew up where 7-year-olds were packing guns and telling big grown men to shut up. You know what I mean? Right. And my husband was a big drug dealer and then the mafia, okay? So, I mean, I could go on and on. He's that's not in my life anymore. But I moved to Florida, and my life is different. And you know what? People are put in your path for a reason, to help you grow. And I realized that everything I ever wanted to do in my life, when I was ready for it, a pastor obviously shows up to me that the story is going to be freaking amazing. I want to write a book on it. The only thing that's held me back is because I couldn't read at the time. But after I had my spiritual awakening, I was a speed reader, and that whole Kundalini experience that only 9% of people have, I had it. I mean, like, I know everything. I can do anything I put my hands on. But I've been that way since a child because I didn't look at people because I could feel energy. And I knew what was going on already from birth, because when I was little, I would lay in my crib, and I could see, like, fuzzies, and I would go, one of my neighbors was a preacher, and he has a radio show, or not a radio show, a publication. He has a Christian magazine, but I would go, his daughter was my friend, and he had 9 kids, and I would go stay the night at her house, and I would always tell him, because I was a little girl, and his wife was best friends with my mom. And so she was probably a little bit familiar that I was gifted already or tapped into my stuff as a kid. But I would go there, and in the middle of the night, he would always take me into his room and take notes, and I would tell him, I feel something in that room, and he would ask me, where do you feel it at? And he would, like, work with me like a doctor would almost, right? And it's funny because he's a screaming Christian, and he's scared to death of me now. He don't even want to talk to me. Like, the stuff I tell him freaks him out. Like, I had a head Mason channel me in the middle of the night, and he opened the first Masonic lodge in New York. and I went to go do some charity work, because I've been doing what you and I do for charity since I was probably 14 years old. I've been doing readings and doing all that, but I never touched the cards because they scared me, right? I'll play with oracle cards because they got angels on them, you know? But that experience, what he showed me, what, honey?
Oh, no, I was just saying, I mean, was she able to answer all your questions, or?
Well, my question is for you. When you channeled the area, so you said that this morning you had that visitor, right? So I had an experience once when I came out of my meditation, I felt the presence there. But because when I was a child, I rejected that because it was just too much for me, right? Now so sometimes if it's a real important deal like this, what I'm going to tell you now, I accept the gift. But I want some understanding on how to understand when it's there, because I understand it's still a fear that I'm facing as a spiritualist. So when I came out of my meditation, I felt this big presence, okay? And I was just going to clean the house that day. So I got dressed, and I could just feel it, like right there next to me. And I saw him like, okay, so I noticed something was with me that morning. So then I get in my car, and I'm going to go just like not even a mile from my house to go to Winn-Dixie, and something says, no, go down and buy the tabletop for your store. I had a little boutique called Shop 777. And so I was like, I never leave my house in my cleaning clothes, especially not to go buy a $400 glass tabletop. So I was listening right away. As I'm driving there, I feel the same presence that was in my bathroom follow me. The same presence that was with me in my bathroom. I felt it behind me, but it wasn't giving me any messages. But I knew that whatever was with me, I was going there for a reason. So as soon as I get there, I meet this guy. I pick up my glass. I go up to the register. Right away, I see a huge, I'm a visionary, but I see him without the sight. You know what I'm saying? I see this lady sitting there, and because I'm good at what I do, I just burp shit out my mouth, right? So I told the lady, stop, because I seen a contract in front of her. I said, stop. I said, your mother wants you to know what she was going to do today, because I don't see bad things. That's one of the things I've never seen. I've never seen anything unhealthy because I keep my energy clean. So I said, stop. Whatever you were going to do, your mother wants you to know that you're going to get your house and everything is going to be okay. And so she's kind of freaking, right? And then the guy comes up, and these people are like Duck Dynasty-looking people, like real country people, because I live in the country. And they're looking at me, and the guy is freaking out because all his pets, I channel animals, and I can actually take them out of, I can do a lot of stuff with them, like broken bones stuff, okay? So he's freaking out because all his watchdogs are all hanging out at my feet, and they're all there, all the animals. He noticed that first, right? So the next thing he does, he looks at his wife, and she's like freaking out. I just told her something, right? And he says, what's going on? And she goes, honey, she goes, I was going to blow my head off tonight, and you weren't going to catch me. She said, but she just told me that we're going to get the house, and that, because I saw the contract to the house is what I was seeing, and that's what she was worried about. But because I just blurt out what I see, because I know that we only have that energy, like, for that moment, and spirit works really, really quick when they want to put something out there, because that's that moment, right? And so, and the next thing he pulls this picture out, and I'm telling him what's in there. But my question for you is really, really, I'm glad that everything happens for a reason. Well, I want to start doing more work like that. So how will I feel the presence, or how do you think I should go about? I want to get more comfortable with doing that work, because I've been doing that a long time, because I warn people all the time, don't go to California. You're going to get hooked up with your old friends. And this is how I got working with the court systems. I said, if you let him go back to California, he's on probation. I was talking to his officer. He's going to go back, and he's going to get drugged. And I saw him doing all this. She let him go back for Christmas. He went for Christmas. It was after Christmas. She called crying. She said he did exactly what you said he was going to do. He didn't show up for class, and they found him dead, exactly how you did that. And I did 4 of those kids in her class. Same story.
So what you're saying is you want to know.
How can you tell? I want to know a question that a spiritualist can understand. How is it that if I want to do more work like that, how should I go about paying with that presence feel? Because you already feel it and understand it. How, as a spiritual, do I feel it spiritually on me?
Do you know that, do you have an answer for that? Yeah, Karyn. Okay.
What was that last part? Because you faded in and faded out.
I think she meant how do you make sure that you're actually experiencing it? Yeah.
No, when I'm doing my channel work and I want to do more work like that, how is it that I will feel, since you do your work, how is it that I can get more connected on feeling that energy and understanding it? Because when I felt the presence, I didn't see anything, and I didn't have a clear understanding about it. And when I was driving there, it's a half an hour away from my house. You would think she would have been giving me some information or something, right? And I know all things are perfect timing, but I want a better understanding, or how can I feel that vibration how do you feel it is basically what I need to know. I can identify as a spirit how to connect.
That's a really good question. First of all, you want to put the intention out. So when you go to bed tonight, because it's your best time when you're going out of body, hey, I'm looking for more, reception. I want to know. I want to feel, give me more clarity, more insight. So, you put that down out there, and then just be open, and over time that energy will come to you and you'll start to realize it. And what you want to do is, as you're going through each, situation, you want to say, how did I feel and what did it feel like? Start really analyzing all the particulars, because over time you'll start to strengthen that connection to that energy. And then as far as seeing, you can also put it out, my intention is so that I can see dead people. My intention is so that I can see the future, so I'm opening up that. And then you always want to say, with the highest and best, God, I'm opening up my energy grid so that I can see into the future, so that I can be of assistance and help facilitate, whatever I need to do for somebody. So that's all. It's just being more open.
I do all that already. I do all that you're saying. The only thing that I don't do is I don't take notes on what the feelings are and stuff, because that's what I need to understand, the feelings. So I'm going to know that through my notes. You're saying?
What you want to do is you just want to pay more attention to it, and over time you'll start to get that energy, and just by being open. And keep in mind too, it's not something that's going to always be overnight. It's not going to be always the rah-rah. So you're halfway there. You just want a little bit more fine-tuning, and I would even put it out there, just give me a little more fine-tuning and kind of play light with the energy. That's what
All right. Does that
that's what you want.
You want to read me? Or you want to tell me what you predicted in October? I want to know where you see me in October.
Well, one thing I'm going to tell you, I kept picking up a Russian connection around you, just so you know. And that as soon as you picked up the phone, so you've got some Russian activity in your future. You'll eventually travel to Russian, but you'll end up working with somebody who's big into, this type of, occult activity, if you will. By the way, occult is not necessarily negative. It's a Greek word for, other works. But anyways, and I did see some new work around you too, Ann. So you got some new things coming your way. One thing I will tell you, though, there's a guy, he's going to become obsessed with you. You got to be really careful with who you connect with. Somebody's going to be following you and watching you. So be very selective who you interact with. I feel like he watches you. You don't know him. Probably about 30 years old. Yeah, he's a little obsessed with you. You've got an obsessive personality coming around you. That you got to be careful about, like with your social media.
Is he here, local, or is he?
Oh, he'll be around you. He's local. I hear the name like a Todd or a Tom or something like that. But there's a guy around you. You need to keep your floodlights on. Just be a little more guarded, because there's a guy that's obsessed with you. So, just an FYI, that's probably going to be happening within the next year.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll be alert. I appreciate that. And I thank you for doing what you do. And I love you. And the month.
Like
I wish you things. Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, God bless you, too.
Welcome.
Yes, God bless you. I'm turning off when you're done. You never.
Okay.
Okay.
So does that answer all your questions, Ann?
Yeah, listen. Anybody want to speak?
What?
Do you guys want to keep me on? I'll listen in. I'll have some fun. Listen.
Okay, Kelly, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, do you have any questions for Karyn?
Well, Karyn, I was wondering, it seems like sometimes, well, I do the rescuing of the animals, the exotic animals, and sometimes it seems like they all kind of need to go to the vet at the same time. And when I say all, it's an exaggeration, but, 3 or 4 might need to go to the vet at the same time. And I was wondering if there was anything like, because I've got, the snake is fine. I give him his antibiotic shot, so, he'll pull through. But the cancer part, not much, but that's not really showing up too much right now. I think a lot of that got removed with the surgery. And the sugar glider is going to be on medicine the rest of her life. But I've got Jumpy, the bearded dragon, who has leg weakness, and and I've got him going to the vet tomorrow. But then Augie has some sort of eye infection, and I don't know.
Bad.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know which one should be taking that spot tomorrow first.
I would get Augie.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you go to YouTube, it's no different than you know how you can listen to music that has tones that stimulate healing energy. Maybe you can play something really, really nice and smooth, like what you would play for a baby, or you might be able to, meditation for pets. It might have something in there like that, but something or meditation for healing energy. Okay, and if you got one that's really, really sick, go ahead and throw something that's a little bit, not an advanced meditation, but something that's for like a middle, somebody who's had a little experience, a little bit more intense, not so new, not a so easy one, like a more advanced, not real advanced, but one in the middle to help maybe with one that is maybe really sick. But don't put it, maybe not an advanced one, but I bet you that would help. And then when you do it, if you're in there with them, you got to remember everything is energy. So if your energy is, if he wants to heal and he's striving to live, okay, because we all have, the veil goes down and we play our roles here, okay? So if you try to share that energy and, it's just like Reiki on your pet, put your hands on that, and your spirit guides will guide you where to put your hands because you have intent for. If it's of light and love, it's there and it works, okay? It's just a tool, okay? It's a teaching, and you learn this. So if I was you, I would play that music, go to YouTube even. It's real easy to find something just for healing vibrations, and just touch these animals where you feel guided. Because if you're sharing, that's no different than people that channel animals. They know your energy. So as long as your intent is in pure in love, it's like the story of 2 or more come together. What it is you're raising the vibrational frequency. And if you're both wanting to manifest good health, then that has to manifest. That's quantum physics. That's how come people rise from the dead or people come out of comas. I've done this. I got a guy on my show. You can actually ask him for another show. His name is Jimmy Maynard. That boy sat right up out of a coma. It's all in if they want to live, if they want to continue on. You know what I'm saying? Well, not only that, that's maybe not the way to say it, but if they serve their purpose, you got to remember we create time. So if you look at it like for what it really is, his purpose for being here would have been served if it wasn't. And respectively, he would, as you tap into your gifts, you will look at it differently because you want to be a healer. You're a healer. So you have to apply the logic that it's not that you don't cry about that. Like when my mom cried or when my mom passed away, I didn't cry at her funeral. When I came home, she was flipping the lights on like crazy at the house and moving stuff all over the house. Okay, so you got to realize that if you have energy, what you put out will come back to you. No matter what you do, whatever you put out there, it has to come back. Something comes back to you in exchange. If it's good, if it's bad, like attracts like. So if there's that healing ability there, you're putting the vibration and the frequency in the air through the tones. These people that make these YouTube videos, They study this stuff just like a passion like we do. And they know their stuff. That's why they put good stuff out there. And if you put the belief in it, and you're vibrating, and drink water, drink room temperature water, and claim good health. You can do that to your own self and heal your own body. How do you think I'm walking around with 2.3% blood?
Good
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Karyn, do you agree with what she's saying? You do?
Well, there's a lot of truth to what she's saying. You got to balance this world and that world, So, and that's the biggest key. There's always something to be gained on each side. The physical plane as well as the spiritual and energetic field. So, you want to be able to combine. Take the best, leave the rest. Work with both energies. But definitely, was it Augie with the eye issue? I definitely would. Yeah, because I feel a lot of pain with Augie. So that would be my priority. Yeah. So, you can get some relief on that. Yeah, Cal, for sure. And, obviously the other ones. I'm a big animal lover. I have 3 kittens and 3 big cats. And if I could have elephants and, whatever, little piggies, I've always had dogs and cats and bunnies and hamsters. So, those are our children, So, but I mean, back to what, was stated earlier, just combining those two. But definitely, I feel pain in the eye. You definitely don't want to fool around with the eye.
Oh, poor thing.
So.
Yeah, I wondered why she was being awfully quiet. And then I, would rinse it out and it seemed to be okay, and then the next day it's not. So I'm thinking,
irritated.
Yeah, it's time to take her in.
Yeah, that's just something. You're such a good mom. You're such a good mom to your babies. You are,
Now, do you ever read for animals, Karyn? Do you ever read for animals, Karyn?
Oh, yeah, I get animals that come in.
Do?
I tell people, it's always funny because sometimes, I know a lot of people will say I'm a pet psychic. And that's fantastic, but they're not human psychics. And I laugh at that because I'm like, if you're truly a psychic, or a psychic medium, as in my case, you can read anybody, including animals. And a lot of times I've seen, pet psychics say, oh, your kitty cat's upset about this or that. It's all nonsense. And I'm like, please, But I've had many readings where, I've had horses come in. Today I had a couple pet connections. So, dead ones, alive ones. Actually, a funny story. I was reading this woman one time, and I said, oh, my God. Oh, and I got to tell you, everybody will appreciate 2 stories. But I was reading this woman one time, and I said, oh, my God, you got the cutest little dog. He's whatever type of dog. He was like a little terrier, golden hair. And I said, I see that you take him to school every day. And she said, oh, yeah. And I said, this is funny because he always runs off with this other little doggy girl, and she wears like a little pink collar. And I described her hair with a little, like a little white lasso type of doggy. And she laughed at me. She goes, I just found out from the teacher at the doggy daycare school that every day those 2 run off. They don't play with all the other dogs. And I laughed. I go, and it's like that song, and they call it puppy love. I'm like, it was so cute. And I've seen that before. And it just reiterates, that, people look at animals as though they're animals. But I'm like, they're really spiritual beings. They're individual. And so on and so forth. Another funny story, and this is going to tie into religion. I was reading this woman once, never read her before. She sat down. She was really kind of grumpy. And I said, oh, your birthday's in September. Your middle name is this. Your best friend is named Hannah, whatever particulars. And I said, I'm going on and on. Oh, your birthday's September 20th. And she's like, yeah. She's kind of snippy. Finally, I looked. I go, oh, my God, your dog Katie's here. And she's like a medium-sized dog, reddish-colored hair. And she started to bawl. And I go, oh, my God, you got her as a Christmas gift like about 12 years ago. And she says, yes, she was the love of my life, and she came, and it's my Katie, blah, blah, blah. Then she looked at me, and by then she was just like, melted and crying and happy and bittersweet. And she goes, I don't understand something. I said, what's that? She said, I went to my minister after Katie had died. I was really close to her, and I'm heartbroken. And my minister told me that, animals don't have spirits. And I said, you need to fire that minister. I said, because spirits are the living force. You cannot have a physical body without a living force. So I hate when people say stuff like that.
There's ignorance right there.
Sure, go.
One of the guests that we've had on is Karyn Page, and we've had her on. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's been sort of a regular on our show. Really sweet lady, really nice lady, but unfortunately for us, Karyn's not a medium. And one of the things we've actually talked about doing, and Kelly knows what I'm talking about, is to do a show where we have one lady who's a psychic and one lady who's a medium on. And, we take calls and everything. And that way, Karyn doesn't feel burdened. And I know that you're also a psychic, but you seem to lean towards the medium, whereas Karyn has picked up on those who are departed, but I know it's funny, your names are both Karyn, would you be interested in coming back and in the future, like say sometime we want to, but what we would do is we would have you both on at the same time.
Yep, I'm both a psychic and a medium, so definitely.
What do you think of that idea, Kelly and Barbara?
I love it.
Yeah, we could definitely do it. I mean, I'll probably get stuff psychic, too, because when I do my readings one-on-one, I go psychic and mediumship. So I get, like, a full yard. So I'll tell stuff about the future, as well as stuff in the past. And a lot of times my predictions will come from dead people as well as, like the psychic TV, as I call it. So, but, I mean, I can focus. If you want me to just stick on the mediumship side, that's fine. It would be fun. And you'd have two Care Bears. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll plan it.
I'll talk to you because I think that maybe I don't know, in a few weeks or something, or.
Yeah. I've got some travel, but yeah, Jonathan, definitely we'll have fun. It's a fun group. You got fun people, so I always have fun, and I really appreciate Yeah. So yeah, just get back to me, and we'll work something out. And I really appreciate you having me on tonight. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and I'll wait to hear from you.
All right. Everybody have a good night. And
thanks. Au revoir, mes amis. God bless everybody. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
God bless you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.